In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You are advised that any view expressed by the host or their guest are not necessarily the views of the owners or management of TogiNet Radio, Togi Entertainment, or the Owners Group, Inc.
It's time for Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues today, with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly. Ladies, Motherhood Talk Radio is here to give you a powerful platform by giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. Motherhood Talk Radio has interviews with best-selling authors, gurus of happiness, and women of interest who every single day make our world a better place for our families. Motherhood Talk Radio, powered by Motherhood Incorporated, is on the air now. Moms, this really is your show. Motherhood Talk Radio. And now, here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I am the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with Miss Perfect Wedding, Christy Holly.
Hello there.
And Mr. IQ of 6, Rick Swanson.
How did I only get 6?
Hey, be glad you got 6 at that point.
I know, I should count my
Higher
blessings.
than 5. It is higher than 5.
It's
Who knows,
true.
maybe by the end of the show you'll be a 7.
Yeah, she's halfway there.
7's at least lucky, so.
That's true, and I think what is functionally retarded, like 50 or 70 or something like that?
So essentially what you're saying is there's like me, mental retardation, dirt, and then, no, I even said it
No,
wrong.
I think it's a stump, then you, then dirt.
Stump, then me, then crap, then, yeah.
There you go.
Thanks.
Oh, well, everybody has to bring something to the party. Well, I had a really, really busy week this week. I don't know about you guys. Christy, how was your week this week?
Well, it was okay. I had a funeral last Tuesday.
Did you put the fun in it?
I tried.
What the fun in funeral, right.
I tried my best. I am a party waiting to happen.
Well, and you're a party waiting to happen because you get the distinct pleasure of handing off your offspring for 4 whole days.
Yes, I do. I'm very excited about this.
Yes, so can you share with our listeners why you get to do that and how you will not be in jail by doing that?
Well, we don't know about that.
Quote, unquote.
Not yet.
We'll see. Knock on wood, somebody. I won't be in jail. You too.
No.
It's Dads and Kids Weekend for LA City firefighters. So they're taking all the fathers are taking their kids camping for the weekend, and mine are leaving tomorrow after school, and they're coming home on Sunday.
And you're just walking around like you can tell Christy's a little bit excited. She just keeps walking around, free at last, free at last.
I know.
Thank God I'm free at last. She doesn't care about Martin Luther King. Just free at last, my kids are gone.
I know. Well, you know what? This is the only time I ever get like a break and
a full break.
A full break. And I didn't last year when they went. I still had to watch my damn dog.
That's true.
So,
That's no fun.
it's not even like I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't like really do anything. I cleaned the house and I studied for a test. Not fun. This time my mother-in-law's watching my dog, who happens to be in heat.
Ew, you never got
know.
that big, giant, monstrous dog fixed?
I know.
TMI.
Gross. It's so gross. And it lasts for so long. Anyways, no, so she's going to take care of her, so I am free.
You are free. And you
So-
choose to spend your free time with me?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so lucky.
And I'm not quite sure where we're going.
Well,
Did you
it's
guys
one of
decide
the-
yet?
No, we're going to talk about it tonight because I
You're
want
going
to
in
go over
2
the
days,
specifics.
right?
Well, we're kind of like the president and vice president. We don't want to divulge our playouts because we both need to be in power here.
Yes.
AKA, you're not prepared.
And we are okay with changes.
We are okay with
Right?
changes because this week, this show today is all about changes, and I've had a lot of changes this week. I've had to clean out my mom's house because she is not well and she will not be coming back to it. So that was really difficult for me. But I have to tell you, the everyday superhero in Richard D. Swanson showed up and helped me haul all this crap, Rick. You were so great yesterday.
Well, thank you.
Like if you need like some big brute man to just lift up heavy objects with an IQ of 6, he's your guy.
That's when you don't need a high IQ, just muscle.
Just muscles.
Just muscles.
Yeah, but that was like super huge and helpful. And, you know, the best thing about it, you know, I've moved, I was thinking about, like, you know, when I thought about the show today and changes, I was thinking, you know, I moved for like 10 years, like every 2 years. You know, I never stayed anywhere very long, always like kind of, you know, down the open road for me. And to move that stuff out, I realized how many moves I've made over my lifetime. And all of them have had like some pain in the ass person helping me move. Not going to name that person or people. And yesterday was the first time that I lifted with a partner 3 bedrooms full of furniture and couches and chairs. Nobody got hurt. Nobody scraped a knuckle. I mean, Rick, we rocked. We could go in and make like a moving company between the two of us.
Seriously, like the Polacks with the I always
Is
forget
that
what
your
you
new
are,
name?
but I give you Polish points anyway. Just brute strength. She is very strong. I don't know if you've seen her lift, Christy, but yeah, she's picking up.
I know both of you are freakishly strong, so I don't know where I fit in here.
We should mate just to make like really like brutally, freakishly strong children.
Yeah, and I also officially lifted the heaviest TV I've ever lifted in my entire life. I was like, did you pack concrete into it or what? It was like I could barely get my arms around it, and then it would like lean to one side. You saw that, Sandra, when you tried to pick it up. It was like
It was like, you know, circa 19. Like,
What the hell is in it?
It's the 1995 prior to flat screen. You know, with the tube. This is my dad's TV.
Like a big motor in there?
yeah, it's like lifting an engine block. It's like really no.
They're gonna be like,
Get
I don't
your
know.
dad a new TV.
Well, I didn't know how heavy it was. I was just because, you know, when he ordered it, you know, he got it, and I know somebody delivered it, so we had no idea how heavy it was. And you know, and I said, Rick, wow, that's a big TV, and you think we can move it? Oh yeah, we can move it. And I'm like, oh my god, it's like a family of 4 living in the back.
Seriously, that was ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, that was really heavy. I mean, I thought the TV was heavier than the armoire.
oh, definitely.
Yeah, so when you have a TV that's heavier.
Yeah. Yuck.
Yeah. So, and Rick, what about change for you? Have you had any changes lately in the last couple of years? Change of plans, change of things going on?
No, yeah, you know this. I mean, big changes, I would say. And you know, when it initially happens to you, you know, you kind of get that feeling of like, I won't say the S word, but, oh crap, what am I going to, can I say that on the radio?
Yeah,
I mean,
can.
you do.
Still
I'm not
keep it
sure
out.
if I can.
Yeah, Sandra always says it.
I do.
Okay.
I know. No, you say the S word.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Okay.
Carrie, you're supposed to be beeping this out. Okay, sorry, Rick, go ahead. We're in all
This is
seriousness.
a family.
She's like, you really want to hear the story, or should we can just swear
No,
for the next hour?
please share with us your story, dear
And I
heart.
want to know what big changes you're talking about, because you said, oh, you know, but I don't know.
No.
You don't know, Christy?
Well, I
Well,
know.
I thought we were friends. Wow. Okay.
Well, I want to know what big changes you were talking
Well,
about
you know, like,
specifically.
you know, when I got out of, I missed my college graduation because I started working with the Los Angeles Police Department. And I was like, you know, I had a thought for, you know, a couple of years in college, like, yeah, that's the big thing I'm going to do. That was my career. I had all my ducks in a row, and I was ready to go, and I could retire in 22 years, and I'd be, you know, good to go. And then, you know, when I went through it, then I was like, you know, this is really what I don't want to do. But to go from, you know, all the benefits and making that kind of money to then making that transition, okay, now what do I do? It's kind of like, it's kind of a little bit, you know, confusing and kind of scary. And you're like, oh, shit, what am I going to do now? You know? So that I got to sneak in the word.
Your mom's going to hear you say that. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Make sure she doesn't listen to this show. Nah, she's heard it before, please. So, you know, that was one of the, you know, bigger ones for me. You know, and it took a while to, you know, refocus. And in the past, you know, couple of years, I've done some different things and to kind of refocus my life and not my identity, but, you know, what I'm going to do. And it is a little more challenging, at least when I have 7 cops in my immediate family. Like, that's all I pretty much known growing up. Like, military and law enforcement. That's pretty much what everyone does.
So what are you going to do?
Huh?
What are you going to do? What is
That's secret.
Oh.
That's covert. You'll have to actually, like, call me or text me sometime, like friends, and ask, but, you know, you're too busy, so.
I'm going to beat you when I'm done with this hour.
See, this is the kind of friendship. These are the kind you want. If you don't divulge, they beat the crap out of you.
Yeah, well, that's what do you think support is? Come on.
You want my support? You better tell me what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's like we've all had major, like, life changes, except for the one with the perfect wedding.
Right.
But
don't ask Miss Perfect.
Yeah, don't ask Miss Perfect over there. But, you know, yeah, we have. I mean, Rick has made a lot of changes. And, you know, I want to commend everybody out there, and I want to commend Rick, because part of finding out what we want to do with our lives and being the people that we are is finding out what we don't want to do. And I think what happens a lot of times when we're faced with changes, you know, I remember, like, I went to journalism school, and I came out of journalism school, the top journalism school in the country at the time, and I was like, I'm not working for $20,000 a year. I'm not going to stand in a field of mud where pigs are having babies for a story. And I was like, they didn't prepare this for me. I thought I would get my hair done and sit on the news and go, hi, I'm here to bring the news. It wasn't like that. And I think, you know, but the value of finding out what you don't want to do is as valuable as finding out what you do want to do. I mean, I just think that's really valuable information, because a lot of us don't have the personal strength to say, you know what, I don't want to do it, and I will walk away from this training. I will walk away from this education. And what I found now, coming out the other end with doing something like that, is the training and things we received are never not of value, but we need to find our place. We need to find our place in the world that's true to our heart, that's true to ourselves, and then all those things that we have done and learned and been trained in kind of weave their way back into our lives and help us out a lot. And that's what we're going to talk about today on Motherhood Talk Radio. We're going to talk about change, what happens when changes come into our lives, either unforeseen or foreseen, or through a divorce, through a change, through a death. All these different things happen to us in our lifetime, and how we rebound, how we bounce with those, how we respond to those challenges really make us what we are today. My name is Sandra Beck. I am the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with Christy Holly and Rick Swanson. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the 10 steps that can help us all cope with transitions in our life.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. The Multi-Ethnic Church with Mark DeMoss, Thursday afternoons at 1, noon Central, is a show that passionately addresses the question, if the kingdom of heaven is not segregated, then why on earth is your local church?
They call us diversity, but colorful good. It's like a freak show in your neighborhood.
Yes, increasingly, our diverse population and the diverse families it's producing is reshaping the face of the local church as people are beginning to recognize the power and beauty of walking, working, and worshiping God together with others of different backgrounds. How can your church overcome the obstacles, and why should you even try? Join a live chat with guests from around the country and the world to learn the effectiveness of churches in the 21st century beyond race and class distinction. This show has its pulse on what it will take for the church to find real reconciliation in our generation. So tune in for the Multi-Ethnic Church with Mark DeMoss, Thursday afternoons at 1, noon Central, here on TogiNet.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to be a rock star. Get ready to rock with Rock Talk and Craig Deswald, and learn how to achieve rock star status in your industry. Every Tuesday afternoon at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. Craig Deswald is the creator of the Rockstar System for Success. Craig will share easy tips and strategies on how entrepreneurs and businesses can use outside-the-box marketing strategies to stand out from their competition. Each high-energy show will feature interviews with celebrity rock stars as well as business rock stars. For more on Craig, the show, and the Rockstar Marketing Boot Camps, check out the website, CraigDeswald, so you can learn how to be perceived as an expert and celebrity in your field, so more people come to you to buy your services and products. Then, get ready to be a rock star with Rock Talk and Craig Deswald. Tuesday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com.
Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I am sitting here alone on the radio because my two co-hosts are too busy goofing around. You're right. Rick had his hand in his pants. Christy was yelling at him. I don't know what was going on. My eyes.
Wait, what did you just say?
I said you had your hand in your pants.
Which you did.
That's not even the truth.
We both saw you.
It was
in order to tuck your shirt in, your hand went in your pants.
I was tugging the drawstring.
And you were talking about Rick and Dick. That's the same. In case you forgot, Mr. IQ.
That's true that IQ 6. How would you know?
Wow.
Oh, God, I know, and I just complimented him, and it goes so fast. I was like, okay, this show, I'm not going to pick on Rick. Do not pick on Rick. And
it comes
and it goes, and...
I set myself up.
You did. Well, yeah, when you walk around with your hand in your pants, and we got two girls in the office who are both mothers of sons.
Tying your strings in your pants and then tucking it in quickly is a lot different than just, hey, I'm walking around with my hand in my pants. I mean, there's two different things going on there.
Did I say you were walking around with your hand in your pants, or did you infer that by my saying?
It sounded like you said, I had my hand in my pants.
Well, you did. Well, you did.
Which is implying that I had it in there for a length of time.
No, you were inferring that. I did not imply. You inferred it.
Oh,
get out your thesaurus or get out your dictionary and we'll settle this later.
Well, to infer is to deduce, and to imply is to, imply.
Okay, but I did not imply, but you most definitely had your hand in your pants because Christy and I saw it.
It's a fact. Hello.
Why are you watching? Rude.
You're, right in front of me.
Big, handsome guy walking around with his hand in his pants. Most women would look.
How big is this room?
Yeah, I know. 13 by 18?
Not that big. Okay, anyway.
Side note.
Talk about changes.
Let's talk about changes. Well, let's talk about, Rick shared with us about choosing, after he went through the police academy, to not choose a police career. And I was talking about, going to the top journalism school in the country, Medill, who's probably like, don't listen to her radio show. It's not what we taught her at all. About truth and fact-telling and the, whatever, truthfulness of, I don't know. That's why I'm not a journalist. Don't listen. But I did, when I was 3/4 of the way through my journalism program, and it's true, when I was like, I don't want to do this. It's like, if I'm going to go into a war zone, I want a gun and not a microphone, and I
support that.
I mean, I thought you both might.
Do you need one? No, I'm just kidding, sorry. No,
but I really didn't.
Yeah.
I really didn't. And it was really hard because, a lot of my peers went on to CNN and, went on to be very successful authors. And it was really difficult for me because, there was this whole setup of, well, gee, you came from a little farming community, you went to a high-powered university, you get in this very exclusive program, and then, you're 3/4 of the way through and you're like, Let me do something else. And of course, my plan at the time was not really a good plan. I had still 1 year left at university, and I thought, this would be so great. I'm going to take tennis. I'm going to take art. I'm going to take all these things. And thank God for John Zymek, my college advisor, because he put me into graduate school. And he's like, no, you are not going to waste your senior year. You're going to go to graduate school. You're going to get a graduate degree. So I did have my graduate degree at 21, which I'm glad now that I have it when I look at friends of mine going back to school. And, I will never regret having it, and I'll never regret studying business or journalism. But when I got out, I just was like, I don't want to do this. And it's really hard when people have expectations of you.
Dead air.
Rick. Hello.
Why is it Rick? What about there's Christy?
Because you guys said I didn't have any major changes going on in my life, so I'm
okay.
Here and
but you can either agree or disagree with the statement, right?
What?
You can agree or disagree with the statement she made.
That's true. You could say, no, Stan, I did not go through a divorce. No, Stan, Rick, I did not go through a career change. But my big overwhelming change was
No,
fill in the blank.
I'm not going to do it.
All right. Well, all right. Okay. Just not. But Rick.
Yes.
Back on topic. When you were talking about your family being like proliferated with law enforcement personnel, and when you chose to not have that career, was it difficult?
It was. I mean, it wasn't like ridiculously so, but I mean, yeah. And it's just kind of like maybe it was more of my perception, but it just not. I don't know if saying feeling ostracized is the right term, but it just kind of like. Just the looks that you get from them, and like, well, why'd you leave, or why'd you do that, this and that. It's like, it's perfect for you, it's this and that, all the advantages and the pros, and it's like, yeah, I know. Like, I took all that into account. I did that prior to me applying, But, my immediate family is pretty good. I think they were a little, like, upset and confused, and it seemed like it was like a whole year and a half before that kind of healed up, with everybody else.
Yeah, it does.
Most of them, that's all they know, and it's been good to them. And the people on the outside, you tell them, they're like, oh, what did you used to do? And you tell them, oh, yeah, I went through LAPD Academy, blah, 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 and I got all, I got commendations, I got top shots, and, but and they're like, oh, then why'd you do it? And they can't understand it, because I think a lot of that stems from, like, the stupid TV shows and the over-glamorization of police work in the first place. Like, CSI, I'm sorry, that may be fun, but it's nothing to do with actual police work. It's not, you don't really always catch the bad guy. You don't stop the dude from beating on the woman most of the time. You usually show up at the end and show up at the crime scene after somebody was stabbed, and then you're like, okay, put up the tape and write the report. That's how it really works. And I had talked to one girl, she's like, oh, I'd love to be LAPD homicide. And I'm like, I was friends with the guy who was LAPD homicide. You know what you show up at? Homicides. They have people who got killed. They're dead and their brains are oozing all over the floor. I mean, and that was somebody's spouse, friend, brother, you name it. And it's like, and even with the movies that we watch now, the video games, they're extremely violent. And you think, yeah, I can watch blood and gore. I like that shit. But when you actually see, like they showed us all these videos of people being shot for real or committing suicide, it's just something different. And it's kind of hard to explain until you've seen it.
Well, it's also real.
Exactly, it's also real. But when you see, like, oh, that was that person, and then you see that connection to the other people they had in their lives, and then now it's gone, but doing that day in, day out, the homicide is an extreme case, but even that, dealing with the domestic violence on a day-to-day thing, it's just like, it's super depressing, and unless you're really good at detaching yourself emotionally from it, it's a very difficult job to do, I think, and really, truly care. You kind of have to have I don't give a crap attitude when you come home at the end of the day. And I was like, I don't think I can do that,
Well, I think you get numb to it. I mean, because...
You do, yeah.
My husband is a firefighter, and he sees all kinds... He sees the same things that the police officers see. They go on all the traffic accidents, all the fatalities, the big old train wreck that we had a few years ago in Chatsworth. Everybody says, oh, it's a train wreck, their first response. But, I've always wondered, like, what does that look like in there after some crazy train accident? And I saw pictures, and it's unbelievable what you would have to, put out of your mind every day. I mean, I would have nightmares, because I can't separate myself, but they just see it. It becomes their job.
Well, they're maybe just built that way.
Yeah, but, I think they all need some counseling. Or, I think that's why there's, like, high statistics that a lot of them are...
Oh, yeah.
Drink alcohol and...
Right, a lot of them use different methods to cope.
Yeah. Really, like, that's a really big one. Like, and you don't really hear about that on, the nightly news or in the media in general, because it's not a fun fact. But, like, the suicide rate, and the alcohol rate in the police department is very, very high. And, they don't really put that information out there as much as I guess they should. Like, I don't know what the fire department is like, but, that's what I kind of picture myself doing. It was one day, I was on a weekend, I was just in the academy, and I was drinking alcohol and working out at, like, noon in the afternoon on the weekend, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, and then I got that picture of myself 20 years from now being bald, fat, divorced, an alcoholic, hating life, you know, still got my mustache, but, you know, my kids hate me, I'm mad at the world, and I'm like, is this what I really want? You know? It doesn't mean you're going to become that way just if you're a cop, but you see that a lot, and I saw it, and I was like,
But you saw it for you. Like, you're not trying to speak on
I'm
anybody
not trying to
else.
say, you know, for my brothers or my cousins, none of that, just me personally. You know.
Well, and I think, you know, you're right in that, Rick, that, you know, you have to look at some of these things in how they relate to you. You know, it's like I did not see myself, you know, standing in the Middle East with a microphone. I mean, I knew I wanted to have kids. I wanted to have dogs. I like to throw parties. I like to do charity work. You know, it's like I'm not that person, and I recognized it when I went on my first fatal with the newspaper that I worked for, and, you know, it was the first fatal I'd ever seen, and it wasn't like it was on TV, and I threw up on a cop, just like you, Rick. I could have thrown up on you. But so,
goody.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want the reporter. You want to be the reporter that throws up on the air. You know, I just had never seen anything like that. I wasn't prepared. I thought I was. I didn't, you know, and I would also, you know, cry when the interviewer person that I'm interviewing would start to cry. I would start to cry, and then I more want to give them a hug and a Kleenex than get to the truth of the story. And it just wasn't me, and it was never going to be me. And just because I had studied for 4 years and paid an exorbitant amount of money for that education.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. I couldn't do it, because I, too, would have ended up bitter and angry, because the things that I wanted in my life, sometimes when we make choices, our choices help us redefine as we go to find out what we really want to do, because I think all of us can tell what we don't want to do. But it's very, very hard at any point in our life to really identify what we do want to do. And that's where making choices and making decisions to not do something are as powerful as the decision to do something. And I personally think it takes more personal strength to do what Rick did or to do what I did, which is to walk away from something that you invested in, saying this is not the right choice for me, and then stand by it. Because I stand by I made the right decision. Rick, I think you stand by that you made the right decision. We want to encourage everybody out there to listen to Motherhood Talk Radio. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host along with Christy Holly and Rick Swanson. When we come back, we will talk more about the recognition of things changing.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these.
The American Rock and Roll Countdown with Alex Price.
So where were you in the 1970s? Well, this Saturday morning, we're going to flash back to the 70s as we count down the classic hits with the American Rock and Roll Countdown. You'll hear news and information and stories about the artist and what was going on during the specific week that we highlight. So be sure to join us at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this Saturday on TogiNet for the American Rock and Roll Countdown.
The American Rock and Roll Countdown on TogiNet.
Get ready for the Not So Soccer Mom, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central, on TogiNet with Jill Hickey. You name it, from politics to pop culture to Jill's search for the perfect bronzer and chicken salad. The Not So Soccer Mom will weigh in on it all. The sentence, "I have no opinion about that," is one that Jill has never uttered. In the early 90s, Jill finally decided to put her thoughts, opinions, mom advice, love of pop culture, hummus, and Starbucks, working out, cosmetic shopping, and politics into an actual website, and thus NotSoSoccerMom.com was born. Shortly after her fourth child, a boy, Jerome, now she's really got tons of topics to share with you. This is Laugh Out Loud Funny, and we're not kidding. What's a loud Nebraska girl who lived in Little Rock for many years and now is up in the Northeast doing? Chronicling her opinions on everything. The wheels aren't off yet, but it's close. It's the Not So Soccer Mom with Jill Hickey, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Like, I said that on the air.
Oh, no.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That was a setup. Yes, this is Motherhood Talk Radio. With Christy and I were just talking about a recent weight loss. And, well, it was about a year ago.
It wasn't mine.
It was mine. And I was so excited. I came in, I had my, what I call my, I mean, most women listening today will understand the fat pants.
Yes.
Like when you're fat or you're bloated, you have your period, and you're not feeling good, you put on your fat pants. And they don't make you feel any better, but they fit.
Yes, they feel better.
They do. They do feel better. But I was very excited because not only did I not have my fat pants on, I had my current regular pants, and I was so excited. I remember walking into Christy, and I stood up. I'm like, look, I can put my hand. Hey, I can do these ones, too.
You're totally doing it right now.
Yeah.
God, what is this?
I know. They weren't so tight anymore.
And you were just yelling at me for that.
I know, you missed it.
Yeah, but you know what? Where I put my hand in my pants was not where you put your hand in your pants.
Mine was off to the side, in my defense. It was just for visual.
Maybe you're crooked. Okay.
Anyway.
So we were talking about change, and I have to issue a very heartfelt public apology because I didn't acknowledge Christy's change. It just wasn't as apparent. Oh, my God, my shirt's open.
Get out of there.
Sorry. It just wasn't apparent to me, the change, because I think I didn't meet the before Christy. I only know the after Christy of the change. I mean, I've seen you transition over time, but there wasn't one big chunk of like, okay, I'm leaving LAPD to do this. I'm leaving journalism to do that. Yours was more gradual, but what I recognize is it's like not as apparent, but it's still very powerful in your life.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Apology accepted?
Apology, of course.
Okay, good.
Of course.
This could be a really long 4 days if it's not.
I know. Watch this change.
What's this change?
So, you want me to talk about my change?
Yes, I would like you to talk about your change.
Okay. Well, I was just saying that I have been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, and I recently was kind of forced into making a change, you know, in my life, very scary for me, because I had to go back to work. And I'm not working working in a job like I used to. I used to work 8 to 5 at the courthouse and, you know, every day, day in, day out. And now I'm doing something on my own. When I became a notary, it's my own business, so I have to go out and self-promote, and which is scary. After being out of the workforce for so long, I feel like I lost touch with everything, adults, everyone, and my confidence, you know, used to be way, you know, sky high, and now it's, you know, it's low because I don't feel like I look good. I don't feel as smart as I used to because, you know, I've been playing with my kids, watching, you know, TV shows with them, and now I have to get back into the adult world, and it's scary, and it's a change that I was forced to make. You know,
and I think a lot of women are having to make that change these days.
I think so, too, as opposed to a change that you're like, I'm going to change my life. You know, I'm going to go out and tackle the world is different.
Well, because you're in control. You're in control of that change. You're the one making that decision. What I hear in your situation is it might have been your decision, you agreed to it, but it wasn't your choice. You didn't wake up one morning and go, I'm going to do this. You woke up one morning and made the decision, I have to do this.
Yes.
That's a whole different animal.
It is a whole different animal. I mean, because there are changes that I make every day that, you know, I choose to
not eat this box of chocolate.
No, I choose not to eat that chocolate egg that's sitting over there. No, just, you know, the exercise or the dietary stuff, or, you know, going places, saving money, doing all kinds of things. So we make, you know,
we make a million
changes every day. But to have to go out and get a job and help support your family is huge for me.
It is, absolutely. And it's frustrating, too, because we have to have the recognition that things do change. But when they're forced upon us or a situation changes and we have to adapt and adjust, there is that kind of period of time where it's like you have to first acknowledge the change. You have to recognize that this needs to happen, and you have to come to the conclusion. Like for me, one of the big things I had to come to conclusion with this year is I was so sick of listening to myself talk about my heartache from the divorce. It's like I got sick of it. So if I'm sick of it, everybody else has to be sick of it too. But I had to work through to get to that point. When something's foisted on you, you know, like an economic situation, you don't really have that time to go through those feelings of change and frustration and recognize it and then get to the point of adapting to change. Because when you change, like you're changing, Christy, or Rick, like you're changing into, you know, a new career, or I'm changing into whatever's going to happen next, all those things, there's a process that goes through it. And it's frustrating when it's not your choice. It's frightening when it is your choice. I think there's the flip side to those two. Because to me, it's frightening to make the changes I'm making sometimes. To you, I think it's more frustrating and frightening, too. I think there's a little bit.
It is. It's scary. And there's also things that I want to do. I would like to go back to school and find a different career for myself so that when the kids are in school and they grow up, I am going to need something in my life to fill that void,
fulfill you,
to fill me, and to fill the void that's coming. You know, because all I wanted was just to be a mom, and you know, so it's scary to actually take those steps to do something new, to figure out, like, am I going to succeed at this, or am I going to fail? Am I going to be good at this? You know, what's going to happen? What is down the road, and how am I going to handle it?
Right, and you will be fine, and you will handle it, you know, because you will. I mean, that's the kind of girl you are, and, you know, you are, it's one step at a time. But it's like in years past, it's like you could have chosen to have more children, but economics prohibit, you know, having more kids or choices, and you know, it's very difficult to figure out your place in the world.
Yeah, it really is. You know, when you think it's one place and it's not, or if somebody comes in and makes changes in their life that affects your life, so you have to change, you know, it's hard.
It's very hard.
It's scary.
And it's scary. And I think, you know, one of the things that when I was researching change today, I went to the University of Victoria in British Columbia because I think their stuff is really good, is that you have to accept that there's like a loss in change. You know, a loss of, like, for me, it was a loss of status. You know, here I am at this high-powered university. Oh, look at me. I'm going to be this big journalist. Oh, guess what? I'm not. You know, there's a loss of status. There's a loss of direction because now I was on this career path and now I'm not. There are losses associated with it. Rick, you were talking about, you know, with your family members, there had to be a little bit loss of prestige factor for you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, especially in, I think, certain professions, they do have a certain aura about them that just by default of you being that, a lot of people will give you that respect. They will look up to you, and you really don't have to earn it. You know, you don't have to do anything. You show up there in your snazzy uniform and your badge, and, you know, you even become better looking, apparently. It's really strange.
That's true. That's true.
Women are just like, I think they're drawn to that, you know. They're drawn to, I think it's, you know, it's that, you know, it's something that it can be and is admirable. It's stable. You know, it shows someone who's, like, knows what they want and knows what they're doing, you know, as opposed to, like, la, la, la. But,
well, and there's power and status that all go along with the wearing of the uniform.
That's my
Oh, yeah, power with the gun, the status and the badge, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know. See, that's
yes,
where,
sir.
in the police, like, I don't know how common it is in other parts in the country, but a term that we always talk about is becoming badge heavy. It's that newfound status that you have by just merely putting on your Sam Brown belt and your gun and your badge, that it becomes bigger than you. Because in a sense it is, because you are representing all the taxpayers and the community as a whole. And it's not just you, it's your officer Swanson or officer so-and-so being the representative. But at the same time, there is that danger that it goes to your head because, you know, I can walk into this place, I get things for free. I walk in here, no one questions me because I pull my badge on and say, hey, I'm a cop.
And then I get tickets for no reason.
People just take things, they just take your word for it. Oh, yeah, I'm a cop. They don't even look twice. They don't really check and make sure your ID really matches your badge. Just like, look, I'm a cop, boom. And then, so with that, that's a lot of power, especially you're 22 years old or in your early 20s, or anybody, I guess. If you're not used to that or you don't have a good perspective on how to deal with it, it can go to your head. And I had some buddies and classmates that you saw that. I mean, one guy got fired because of it,
Well, and you can even see it like in our little boys, like Christy. Like I know, Mr. Rick got the kids these little toy guns, for just a present one day, and my friend Beverly sent them badges, and I'll tell you, like when they put on their little badges, I mean, they pinned them to their pajamas, with their little fake toy guns. I swear they swaggered. They were like, I'm powerful, I'm important. I mean, I think it starts that young, and goes on into adulthood, where we recognize these things of power or prestige, and somebody being on TV as a journalist, or being, behind a badge, or being on the top of a fire truck looking, I'm going to save people. These are professions that we hold up as honor. It's like, they're honorable professions. You're choosing to protect and serve, defend the truth, whatever it is.
I think because not a lot of people will do those jobs.
They won't.
There's
now they
like you said, there's a lot of people, that are built that way, just like you said, because I wouldn't.
Well, I think, and we want to clarify, there's a difference between not doing something because you don't, that's not your choice, and not because you can't. I mean,
right.
Rick obviously went through with high honors.
I have the tools to do it, and I know I could be a good police officer. It just matters, I don't want to do that day in, day out. It's just,
We don't want you to either.
No,
I can't do it, and they kick me the hell out.
We want you to walk around the office with your hand in your pants so we can pick on you.
Yeah, I always have.
Among other things.
Don't worry.
Well, and before we go to break, I want to say there is something about police officers and their badges, because when one time I was talking to Rick, and I'm like, wow, do you think I could wear, like, the top of your uniform and just your badge and like some high heels? And I thought you'd be like, yeah, but you were horrified.
Yeah, it's like defaming the uniform. Like I do have.
Like you're defaming the uniform. Like, okay, he is a man of honor, because most people would be like, wow, you want to walk around in high heels, my uniform top, and the badge, and the hat. You can't forget the hat. But my name is Sandra Beck. I am the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with Christy Holly and Rick Swanson. Today we're talking about change. How do we navigate change, take action? When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the worst thing that we can do in the change process, which is staying stuck.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these.
Coming live from Seattle, Washington, home of the biggest and best internet companies on the World Wide Web. It's SEO Radio, starring Brandon Knopf. Tuesday nights at 10 Central, 8 p.m. Pacific on TogiNet.com. SEO Radio. This pioneering internet and social media entrepreneur will share some of his most super efficient opportunities with you, small business owners, and future entrepreneurs to help you build a future like Amazon or Expedia Online. There's never been a marketing strategy that's been so effective at allowing small businesses to compete with the big boys. And Brandon now helps you learn these easy as 1, 2, 3. SEO. For more on Brandon, check out his website, SeattleOrganicSEO.com. SEO Radio. Get set for SEO Radio, starring Brandon Knopf. Tuesday nights at 10 Central, 8 p.m. Pacific on TogiNet.com. Hey moms, get ready for Living the Dream Mom with Nina Fry. Thursday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Living the Dream Mom is about the true realities of motherhood, the beauty and the rewards of watching your children grow.
All these moms have something in common. They put their kids first. It's not about the kids all the time and the diapers and the bottles and the breastfeeding. It's about showcasing the mother in motherhood, real moms in the real world. You get it? Now that's what the show's about. So every week, let's get together together, and we'll share these great stories with you guys. And I hope by the end of the show, you'll be saying, you know what? That is my life. Nina gets it. And I can't hardly wait to see what she brings me next week.
Don't miss the next Living the Dream Mom. It's Real Moms in the Real World. Thursday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central. Living the Dream Mom with Nina Fry on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with Christy Holly and Rick Swanson. Yes, we are talking about change. All of us have changes in our lives. I want to talk about in this final segment something that happened to me, and I won't say that it's happened to anyone else, but when you're put into a change situation, I think sometimes it's good for a short term, but for long term, it's really tough to stay stuck. And I think for about a year, I stayed stuck where I was. You know, I really wasn't moving forward. I wasn't making choices that would help me have like a rich and full life. I wasn't making choices that I'd have any life, really. I was, you know, kind of hiding in my office, doing my work, maintaining the status quo. And, you know, I know that at some point we have to accept the loss that happens when we go through change. We have to accept the uncertainty of change, the fear, the frustration, all those things that come along. We have to have the recognition that things do change. Now, those things take time, so we're going to, you know, say, you know, whose amount of time, like, you know, it's 2 months for you, 6 months for me, a year for someone with an IQ of 6. But, you know, but we don't know what that time frame is.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rick. But we don't know what those time frames are. And the hardest thing about, I think, being stuck, and being stuck, what I mean is being stuck is like not knowing what to do next, like not knowing, you know, in your case, Christy, you didn't really have a choice. You know, for me, there was choice. For Rick, there was choice. It's hard to know what the next step is going to be. And I think sometimes we just maintain the status quo. We stay stuck. I know I did.
Well, I know that I've stayed stuck before, too. I'm just out of fear. I'm too afraid to take that next step, you know, for fear of, like, what's going to happen? Am I going to be successful? Can I stay successful if I take that step? What's, you know, the fear of the unknown, just the fear of it's something new, but it could be quite wonderful, you know. Some changes end up being the best thing that you ever did. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
You know that.
I know that. I mean, I am happier than I have been ever in my life. I have beautiful friends. I have great relationships. I have wonderful kids. I have you and Rick. I mean, who could ask for anything more to show up each week and, you know, work with you guys on this stuff? I mean, it's really, I wouldn't have a lot of this stuff if change hadn't been forced on me. Would I want it as painful and as humiliating the way it was done? But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like now I can turn around, and the one thing that's been really great about that change, you talk about taking, like, chicken shit and making it into chicken soup, is now I've been able to help other women in my situation, be a leader, show them, you know what, you can get hit by a truck in your heart and rise up the next day. And I did not do it gracefully. I didn't do it beautifully, but I did it. And if I can do it, anybody else can do it too. And anybody who wants to sit in judgment on someone making changes in their lives, like, those are the people that really get to me, because they don't realize, like, especially if it's a change that you have to choose to make. You know, like you think of Rick, you know, standing up there in his uniform. He's got a whole history behind him, a family, all this pressure. You have to really be solid within yourself to make that decision to say, this is not the right choice for me. And the thing is, if he had made that choice, you know, and we can extrapolate out and go, he could have gotten married, he could have had kids, who would all pay the price for him not having the personal strength to make that decision, to make that choice that says, this is not right for me. Because when you honor yourself to make the right choice for you, you are also honoring and caring for the people around you. Because you can't do what you need to do as a mom, you can't do what you need to do as a wife, and a friend, all these different roles we play, if you've put yourself in a situation that you can't tolerate.
That's true. That's
You know, so when I look at something like Rick has done, or I look at something that I have done, of course, because it's me, you know, but I look back at that and go, wow, you know, that takes a lot of strength. And I made the right decision. Rick made the right decision, because if he had stayed, or I had stayed in something that I didn't want to be in, even in a marriage, even though I didn't choose to break those marriage vows, you know, they were broken despite my best efforts. Should I have still continued in this marriage where I'm miserable, it's hurting the kids, and, you know, I feel like crap, and I hate my ex-husband, you know, just, I don't want to live that way day in and day out. That transition was difficult. But the transition, when you transition yourself out of a situation you don't want to be versus staying stuck there, that's something that I think is a super big achievement for people.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you 100%.
Yay!
100%.
So, Rick, we're really proud of you, too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I will still get that badge. I'm still going to walk around with that badge with my high heels
You
on.
can just get a fake one, you know?
No, it's not the same.
Because you really can't,
same.
like, to have an actual badge if you're not, you know, the person it was issued to. It can't actually be a crime.
I don't think anybody's going to arrest me.
Yeah, you're parole bound.
I know
Like, take
you
that.
would. I know. You would. I'd be like, but it's your badge. How are you arresting me?
I don't have it anymore. Whenever you're done with the police department, or unless you've done like 20-some years and you retire, then they'll let you keep it. Otherwise, you have to give it back.
Oh, did you get to keep the hat? Because I'd like to wear the hat.
No, you can buy them, but...
Oh, that's not the same.
You just want to desecrate my uniform, I know.
No, I just want to prance around in a cop's uniform. I've done it in a military uniform. I've done it in a bikini.
Yeah,
Why can't I prance around in an officer's uniform?
See, prance and uniform just don't go together, you know?
All right, Christy, have you ever pranced in your husband's fireman uniform?
I have been in his turnouts. Yes, ma'am. and I've not worn his badge because the uniform is not cute. I mean, it's not like a sexy, like cute uniform. They don't have, but it does like rip open because they're buttons. They're not.
And you know this
like
how?
Buttonholes. What?
And you know this how? It just rips open.
Because I'm married to the guy.
Oh, you're like,
do laundry.
Have you ever put it on and like just ripped it open, like?
No, but maybe I will.
Yes. Would you do it for me? Since someone won't let me wear his uniform to rip it open, you actually have access to a uniform, so you could like walk in to the bedroom and go, "Hi, honey, come on, light my fire." Woo!
Who's going to put the buttons back on, though? That's my question.
No, they're snaps. They're snaps.
They're snaps?
Yeah, so you can just
you
like
can
tear it
really
off.
snap.
Oh, see, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there's buttons sewn on the front, but there's also snaps.
Is that because they have to get out of their uniform really fast and get into their clothes?
They get in,
or their fire clothes, or what we call the fire. What's it called? The fire? You called it something.
Turnouts.
Turnouts.
Those are the yellows.
Okay.
But they have their uniform that they wear every day. You know. It's
that's the blue uniform.
The blue uniform.
Like I see when we see them in like Smart and Final, like buying food.
They're shopping for their dinner.
I know.
That they pay for.
Yeah. But I think, Rick, do you have anything to add about staying stuck and like moving into a different direction in your life?
No, I mean, if I could just maybe piggyback on what you said a little bit, like the biggest thing, I think, like when Christy mentioned too, the biggest fear of not knowing exactly, and that unknown is like, it can be overwhelming, but not doing anything at all, just staying there, just getting by or just surviving, that's like the worst place you could possibly be at, you know? You have to, at some point, you know, chalk it up to life experience. I made it. It's in the past. It is what it is at a certain point, and move on. You know, but it's just deciding, okay, now what I want to do. Is it really going to work out? But I don't think, at least for me, not to fixate on all the what-ifs. You know, you have to make a conscious effort to find out what you do want to do, and then find the steps you need to take, and then just go for it. You know, that's kind of how, even when I got into the police department, I told my parents, they're not going to hire me. I got hired in 3 months, which is like unheard of. But I just went for it because you don't know until you do it. You know, good, bad, or ugly, you have to try your things and go for your dreams. Otherwise, you just sit there and do nothing. You'll end up being 30, 40, 50, 60, you know, just the same as if you'd been, you know, working hard at something to try to accomplish what you want to do. You know,
well, you always wonder if you know, what would happen if you would have taken those steps.
Exactly.
See, Rick, I've seen a lot of change in you since I've met you.
Really?
Other than his hair?
Other than your hair and your clothes, honey. But
My black socks and shorts.
yes, your black shorts. I like those green shorts, and black socks. No, I mean you've done so many things with your music. I mean, you're so talented. You've produced shows, the radio show, lots of radio shows. Lisa's,
yep.
You've been working on all kinds of stuff, and you've been branching out, doing all kinds of different things that maybe you wouldn't be doing if you were a police officer. That's for sure. You wouldn't be using your talent.
I know, just like the other day, too, I told Sandra that I'd removed another virus and some malware from my computer, and I figured out how to do it, command prompts and all this and that. If you talked to me a year ago, I would have been like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But now I actually even like it. Like, I've liked learning technology. I've liked learning what you can do with computers. And before, like my first email I ever got, I was like 19. I was in college. Like, I never, thought I'd do anything with technology at all, so.
Well, and you're good at it. And you've earned so many nerd points. I mean,
still learning a lot,
Well, there's always a lot to learn. But I think, when we have transitions in our life, whether they're pushed upon us by external circumstances or they're by our own hand and by our own choice, there is that bit of going, well, if I had stayed where I was, like if Rick had just stayed in the police department and I had just stayed in the, stayed in the journalism field, you never have to take that risk of stepping out and sticking your neck out and going, well, I may fail. And I can tell you, after running my own company for 10 years, if I were going to make an autobiography, it would be called Failing Forward, because you fail. I fail every single day. I mean, I fail to get contracts out. I fail to get stuff done. I fail to prove things. And the women who work with me and for me are really patient in saying, you know what, we get it. Do the best you can. That's all you can do. But you can't be perfect. You can't know what you don't know, so you just have to try something. And if it doesn't work, you just keep going, do it again, take it from me. Failing Forward is a good place to be in life. You make a lot of friends. You have a lot of great stories, a lot of fun things to talk about. And who knows, you might end up with your own radio show. Yeah. So, and then your friend will come grab you out of the laundry room and will grab you out of church and go, please, please, please come on the show with me, because it's fun. And we can give a lot of valuable information out there. So if you're thinking of making a change, make your change, do the best you can. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, great. Just keep going, move forward. My name is Sandra Beck, and I am the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with Christy Holly, who cannot laugh at me any harder, and Rick Swanson. We want to thank you both for sharing your personal stories with us today so that we can all grow, become more powerful, and live the life we were meant to live.
Thank you for being a part of Motherhood Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly on TogiNet.com. Join us every Tuesday as we